So we have, so this weekend we have the open tryouts. We've got players coming in from all over the country, people with various different levels of experience. Some have college experience, some have previous pro experience internationally as well. So throughout this group, we're looking for some players that just need the opportunity to be put into an elite training environment and an opportunity to really showcase what they can do. Next week, we then have the college draft. The college draft is very tricky this year. There's some incredible talent there, but everybody's got a different career path at the moment due to COVID. But between that event and today's events, we're looking to complement the team as we get closer to our final roster.
How many could you realistically maybe take from these groups?
So in the past, I've done this in a previous job, and I've actually been very fortunate, but we've been able to contract 4 players from our open tryouts. So it varies year by year. There's different types of players available, and every team has different needs. But I'm the type of coach that's very open to bringing in players that are hungry, and they've got a point to prove.
Go ahead.
You kind of mentioned it already, but what exactly do you look for in a player in an open tryout like this?
It's difficult. So, today we have upwards of 70 players across the field. You're looking at people that have some raw attributes. Do they have the athleticism that can survive in the NWSL as the top league in the world? Do they have the technical ability, the game understanding that allows them to compete at the game speed that is happening in the NWSL? And then beyond that, it's an attitude piece. I mean, we had players, we know what the weather's like right now. Some players didn't show up. It tells me everything. There's players that came out last night and tried to clear the fields because they had the opportunity. We had a player missed flights, lost luggage, went and bought new training gear this morning, and then her Uber dropped her off 3 miles away. And she said she would walk here. So for me, I want to see that player play. I want to see what she's got, because that's hunger, and that gets you through a lot of things.
What's the challenge when you're trying to build a team? You're an expansion team. You have these tryouts and you have the draft. And you said it's already tricky enough. Now you're having to deal with COVID and some of these players going back.
Yeah, I mean, there's endless challenges. You want to get your staff base here. You want to build out the culture of the organization. You want to attract players here. You have to identify players that work well in your system. There's also an understanding that, are you going to get every player that you wish? Probably not. And then we threw COVID on top of that. And then one of the bigger challenges is that Louisville's a new soccer market in some sense in the women's side. So trying to encourage players to come here, there's some question marks. They look at it and think, okay, what is going to happen there? We know what's going to happen. We feel very strongly about the club, about the people, about the resources, and we have to prove that point. So there's many different challenges, but for us it's making sure that rather than focusing on creating the best team for tomorrow morning, we want to create a club that'll be sustainable for years and years to come, and getting that structure right and getting the right people here is going to be everything.
Why are open tryouts like this so important to expansion teams?
Yeah, open tryouts are huge. So if you look at it, we can have a roster this year in the NWSL. You can have a roster right up to 28 players, which is the biggest it's ever been. 28 new players in a league that already had 9 teams means that you have to find talent that is previously unspotted. So as we try to supplement the roster, it becomes very challenging to find players that can, one, come in and perform, but 2, can meet the characteristic needs of a club as that sets challenges so high as like ourselves. So there are challenges within that, and identifying those players and finding the right type of people and players that supplement what we're trying to do can be very difficult at times.
You've been around the game a long time. Is there a specific, like maybe, and I think you touched on a little bit, a specific open tryout success story?
Yeah, I mean, we even have a player that's signed for us that'll be here in a couple of weeks' time. Erin Simon, we got her through open tryouts. She went to Syracuse. She didn't get drafted. She went through a couple of different clubs to try out just like this, and we picked her up in New Jersey. And in the first season, she started 18 of 19 games. And in the second season, unfortunately, she broke her foot, but she started 12 games in that season. So there's so many phenomenal opportunities. The game's growing. There's players out there. We're in America where the women's game's at the forefront of it for the world standard. So trying to get in there can be difficult. The commitment and the sacrifice that these players have made to be here is something I greatly appreciate. So for me, trying to find them and trying to give them an opportunity. It's rewarding for them, but it's rewarding for all of us.
You speak a bit to the draft process in this week. Obviously, the rules changes and throwing just another wrench in things. But you cast a wide net in terms of what you scouted. Are there advantages in that as well that you can draft a different kind of player?
Yeah. So for this year's draft, it's very interesting. We have some tremendously gifted players coming in. We have probably the best talent that the college game's produced in a long time. The challenge that comes with that is that every senior has been given an opportunity to repeat the year. So typically you have a registered list of upwards of 150 players. You make your way through because they're registered because they want to play pro. Now you have a list that could expand over 300, and you have to incrementally go through every single player and understand what their intentions are. Will they come out in the spring? Will they come out in summer? Will they come out next year? So one of the biggest challenges is that some of the senior classmen who are very, very talented and belong to some of the top programs, they're going to repeat the entire year. So although we could draft them next week, we would not see them for another 12 months. So as we try to build out a club that needs players on the field, it's great to be able to have rights to these players, but we need them on the field in the coming months. So that's one of the challenges. The other piece is, you open up your net in terms of the width and depth of the pool that you're looking at. So it's a good opportunity because I get a little bit geeky and I like to be able to methodically go through every type of player. So maybe that gives us an advantage, but maybe the fact that they can repeat their whole year is also a challenge that we have to accept. That's what it is.
How excited are you to, knowing that the USL season, we're now in the year 2021, USL season that is so much closer now.
Yeah, the NWSL is real close. It's right on the doorstep at this point, and truthfully, I can't wait to just get coaching. I've been saying it now for 6 months. Everything is building out contracts and building out your staff base, building out the systems, the processes, the culture, and it's all very important, and that's the piece that'll make us sustainable. But at this point, we're craving just getting on the field and looking to see the players and what they want to do and how they're going to do it. So that part is very exciting, and the hope is that we have a very bright future where we have people in stadiums and players playing games on a regular basis.